Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcomed to this live streaming. Going within, living moment to moment. In order to go within, you have to understand certain things. Start living moment to moment. What is meant by living moment to moment? I will take a few examples. Number one, you have an old-time clock hanging on your wall that has a pendulum. The pendulum, when it is moving, it indicates that clock is working. It moves from left to right, not right to left. It starts its journey from left, goes to right, and then returns back. And in this way, it makes the clock alive. The pendulum moves between two posts, past and present. It is like a train which runs between two stations. It starts its journey from one station. It passes through in the way various stations where it is given a green signal to pass, but it does not stop. People watch the movement of the train, and when it reaches the destination, it stops. Passengers come out. Now it is ready to go back to the station where it came from. This is how the pendulum is. In English language, there are three words: past, present, and future. Past tense, that which has happened. Present tense, that is, and the future tense. In between there is past, present, where there is a continuity. I am running. I ran, past tense. I will run, future tense. He runs. This is what is considered as the present tense. I am continuing to run. It shows that there is continuity. In spirituality, there is only continuity. Aham Brahmasmi is continuity. Of whatever it is happening, it is continuing. There is no focus on ending or anything. This is about the pendulum of the clock. Now you would have seen a tightrope walker walking on a tight rope. The rope is tied up on two poles at a certain height. The man who stands on the rope, he is holding a pole in his hand, a wooden log. Holding the log in his hand, he moves on the rope that is tied between the two poles, and he walks on that. In order to walk on that, he leans to the left, leans to the right. Leaning to the left and right, he makes the balance to remain in the middle. This is tightrope walker. Buddha said, this is the way of Buddha, to remain in the middle. To remain in the middle. Like spiritual life is like walking on the tightrope. You have to turn, leaning to the right, leaning to the left is duality. You have to use the two wings, 2 feet to walk. Feet is important because it is a tool to walk. But the focus is on 2 things. To keep your feet strong. Feet may be strong, but you are not using them to walk. You have to focus on keeping your feet strong and then walking. Then a distance can be covered. Duality, the good and bad, right and wrong, they are necessary as 2 wings. And when the 2 wings, the bird continues to flap in order to soar high into the sky, and then the bird simply lays its wings stretched and continues to float. But before you learn to float, before you can float, you have to flap your wings, the duality, in order to reach a certain altitude. And when you reach there, then you can remain floating in the sky. Now, how to reach to that state, how to remain in the middle? Whereas the pendulum is continuously moving between the past and the present, this is how it is designed. But we get too much engrossed into the past, which is not there, or the future, which is not there as yet. It is not born. Future will born out of now, this very moment. So living moment to moment is the device to come out of the past and not to be too much affected by the future. You are neither past oriented or the future oriented, but the mind can only move between these 2 limits, past and present, these 2 stations. Just like a train that runs between the 2 stations and it continues to skip all the stations that come in between. This is known as fast trains or express train or deluxe train. It covers the distance faster, but it skips the stations where other trains stop, but this one does not stop. Living moment to moment means you are conscious, you are aware of what is happening. I give you an example. When for the first time, 1989, I began my radio programs in Trinidad. The first program was named then Hour of Introspection. The script was read by a radio announcer in the beginning. The first program was How Do We Eat? Now observe yourself sitting in a restaurant. You have gone. Why have you gone there? To have your meals there in the restaurant. You are sitting there. The menu comes to you. You look at the ambience. Now, what kind of conversation we get into? You are remembering there the restaurant that you had visited last time. Any little thing, the last time when we went to that restaurant, the service was better. As soon as we reached, the waiter came, they brought the water. But here, so long we are here, the waiter has not come. This is going into the past that is not there. So the journey starts, you look at the menu. Oh, the menu here looks like really nice. Now comparison starts. The past is always comparison based. Oh, they have more space. The menu is much more elaborate. Oh, that is why I was convincing you to come to this restaurant, but you wanted to go to the same old restaurant. We should always go to, every time when we decide to go to have a dinner outside, we should go to a new restaurant, experience new restaurants. This is how the conversation goes on. Then the waiter comes in. Oh, the waiter is dressed really nice. This gives a complete Indian ambience. We are coming here for Indian food. Look at the waiters, how they are dressed. And you start comparing. The food is ordered. The food is in front of you. Whatever food is in front of you, it is only that food that can satiate you. Not the food that you ate last time when you went to the other restaurant. And now to come to this restaurant, you have to there is a long waiting list and you could not get the appointment early. There is a restaurant in Washington, D.C. named Rasika. In that restaurant, it is very difficult to get the reservation. Sometimes you have to wait for a couple months to get the reservation, unless you are a VIP. So the food that is there in front of you, you haven't tasted it. You simply looked into, oh, dal makhani. But this is not looking good like the one that was in the last restaurant. This doesn't seem to have any aroma. And what to talk about another dish, you compare with what you had eaten in the past. Then someone says, that is why I was telling you not to come to the restaurant, but this gentleman insisted that we come to this place. So the young one says, next time, Mummy, when we are ready to go, we will go to the other restaurant, which I know have a greater rating, and everybody talks about that restaurant is better. One is in the past, the other is in the future, and the food is waiting to be tasted. You have not tasted the food as yet. Then somebody tastes the food. Oh, that is really tasting good. So the one who has insisted you to come to this restaurant, see, I tell you that. This is how we engage in conversation and we forget about the food in front. Living moment to moment means the food, you have come to this restaurant for having a dinner. The food is in front of you. It is the food that is in front of you that can satiate you. Whether it is good, whether it is spicy or less spicy. If it is spicy, you can make it less spicy by adding some yogurt or something or the other. If it is not, you can add pepper sauce or something. But it is the food that has been brought to your plate, to your table, that can satiate you. If it is not, then you can suggest, or when we order the restaurant, normally the waiters will ask you, do you want spicy or mild or hot? So you suggest that I want the mildly spiced or something or the other. But when it had come, and even if you find it is a little more spicy, you can ask the waiter to make it even mild, or you can use the yogurt. Living moment to moment means whatsoever is there in front of you in a particular moment. In a particular moment, the food is there that you had ordered in this restaurant in front of you on the table. You have to dish it out in your plate, and when you start eating, it will satiate you. Now, the food is in the platter. Delicious food is in the platter. Now, watch how you eat. You have one morsel in your mouth, and a spoon is ready, holding in your hand, full with the next morsel. As soon as that morsel finished, this goes immediately into it. And where are your eyes? Eyes is focused on, oh, you are taking out all the food, leave at least a little bit for me. I recall when we were small, there used to be a spiritual gathering where people will sit down in a queue and the food will be served. So there 50, 60 or whatsoever number of the people are there in the queue. They are sitting down, and there will be servers who will serve the various dishes. So nobody is going to eat, because the one serves the dal, next serves the vegetable, third one serves the rice. Whatsoever dishes are 3 or 4 or 5 dishes. So different people are serving, and when all the food is served to everyone, then there will be a common prayer said. So your plate is full. So there was an old gentleman who we used to call as uncle. So if there is roti, he will break a piece, morsel, dip it in the dal and hold in his hand. Or if there is rice, something like that, so he will mix the rice and dal, whatsoever it is, and take the morsel in his hand ready to eat. But he cannot eat until the prayer is done, the food offering prayer is done. As soon as it is done, the others will start the food now. But he has the food holding in his hand and he will immediately eat. And then he has started before anybody could start. Now he has finished before everyone else. He will sit down on his haunches, holding the plate or whatsoever the food was served in his holding in his hand, ready to get up first. So we do not in this enjoy what is in our possession. The food that is in your mouth, firstly the food that is on your table that you had ordered, you are not bothered about it. You are now thinking of that, I wish I could have ordered the other dish from the menu. You have forgotten what is in front of you. This is one aspect. Then you have a morsel in your mouth. When it is properly chewed, it goes through your esophagus into your stomach. It gives nourishment. You are forgotten about it. That which is mine is already mine. What to do, what to get now, what to eat now. What to get now. So then you forget. This is not living moment to moment. Either you are future oriented or you are past oriented. You are like a child who is accompanied by his father through a shopping mall. He passes in front of a toy store. His eyes falls on a particular toy. He insists on getting that. And when father asks, are you sure that you want this? He said, yes, this is the type of thing that I was telling you and I want this toy. No sooner than you get the toy for the child, his restless mind falls on another thing. He forgets about the toy that he has gotten about few minutes before. He wants that, the new item. The father says, I told you. He said, no, I don't want that. And he start carrying on tantrums. This is how we live our lives. We have grown up in age, but mentally we have not grown more than the age of a child. Living moment to moment means the morsel that is the food that is on my table, it will satiate us. It will give our nourishment. When the next moment comes, we will see it. Now, more precisely, there is a morsel in our mouth. We have to eat that when it is finished. And even it happens sometimes when you are eating. Somebody says, that particular dish is very tasty. That particular sweet dish is very tasty. So you do not enjoy what is in your possession and you go into the other. This is not living moment to moment. These examples I gave because these examples are everybody's experience. When you have to learn to live moment to moment, you have to enjoy, you have to understand this. Now, when I am sitting, I am invited to a function, I am eating. So I tell the person, you tell me what are the different dishes. I will look at the menu. The menu is served like a buffet. So I have a glance of everything that is available at that moment. And out of that, choose what I want. Not that everything I may want. In Japan, when the food is being served, there are 30 to 35 different dishes, whether it is breakfast or lunch. They do not eat big quantities, that's why they are very healthy. very small portions, not like you ate two naans, then biryani comes and biryani is smelling nice, so you have to take a biryani, then something else comes in. No, very small portions. So many times it happens, in a function like this, your wives or children, they show more caring for you. Dad, let me take out food for you. A wife comes and tells you, let me take out food for you. Why do you want to take out the food for me? I have my 2 hands and 2 feet. I can walk with my feet to the buffet table and my 2 hands to use to take out the food. And when I go there, I can look at it. What are the different dishes? What are the different dishes? I can make my own choice. But I know, Daddy, what kind of food you like. I know, you know what kind of food or dishes I like, but do you know what kind of food I may want to eat this very moment? So when I go to the buffet table, I may ask, do I have to do 1 serving? When you go to a restaurant, you can, in a buffet, they will tell you can only take 1 serving. So people fill the plate in such a way that there is no working space. Like a table is overcrowded, there is no working space. So you cannot manage the dishes. That is where in the restaurants where they have only 1 serving. There are restaurants you can take as many times as you wish. So I would take out of the table 1 item which I want to eat first. Take a small quantity. So I am aware. This is here how you can train yourself to live moment to moment. The food that is there is not finishing. There are waiters, attendants ready to replenish the dishes which are finished. And you can get, let's say there is a baked potato. You like that. You take a small piece because there are other dishes also that may be tastier than the baked potato. You eat that small quantity. Taking the example of food is most common. Everyone likes to have tasty dishes. Everyone eats. So I am taking this example to explain to you what does it mean living moment to moment. Living moment to moment is a tool that can help you to go within. Now, you are eating food, and sometimes it happens when you are in a restaurant, you are talking, you are sitting around a dining table, people engaged in philosophical questions. So whenever I go to the social gathering, so people will say, oh, Mr. Taoshobuddha is here. Let me go and engage with him. So these people are not interested, they are only curious inquirers. They will ask a question. Sir, I had been listening to your program. It is quite interesting. What is so interesting about the program? Yeah, really it is interesting. But have you heard any of the program? Yes, I do sometimes. But what was so interesting that appealed to you the most? Don't. Ask questions. So my simple answer is, at the moment I am eating, let me finish. This is not an occasion to talk about those things. If you are really interested in it, all my talks have helped you, then you can give me a call. The environment will be different. Here it is a social function, somebody's birthday or anniversary or something, music is playing, people are engaged in light talks, and you want me to talk about these things? No, this is how it goes on. So at that moment, I simply say that I am eating. So you are eating, but you can answer my question. Yes, the eating is done through the mouth and the speaking is done through the vocal cord, but the sound comes out of the mouth. Two things cannot happen. It will be like you ask me, a teacher asks a student in a class, today we will make a sentence and do the action. So everyone I am raising my hands. So as he raised the hands, he says, I am raising my hands. So this is an action and the sentence comes together. Next one says, I am writing. So there was a mischievous boy who was always giving trouble to the teacher. He opened his mouth like that. 2-3 times it happened. So the teacher got angry and he said, I told you to do an action and make a sentence. He said, that is what I am doing. So what is your action? Action is, I am opening my mouth. How can you open your mouth and say it that I am opening my mouth? So I am eating. I cannot talk into that moment. Let me enjoy my food. Let me enjoy the moment that I am there. You are on the beach. You are in the water. The sunlight is falling on you. The warmth. The water is there. And you forget all that and you move into the past or the present. Past or the future. This is how we live our life, and moving from past to the present, skipping the past to the future, skipping the present moment is living in the mind. To live in the present moment, in the moment, and the moment is very precise, you cannot capture it. How you cannot capture it? But I can capture it. Show me the capture. I ask you, what is the time? You say 10:30. My words were spoken through the mouth. It was analog language. But analog travels in a particular way and it is converted into digital. Then it reaches to your ears and the ears convert the digital into analog. You cannot hear the digital because digital is wave-like. You speak, I am speaking to you. My system of the iPhone, iPad, MacBook converts it into digital and then it travels to your system. If you are watching this program on your iPhone or Samsung or mobile device, it will convert into digital, and digital it reaches in the digital format and your system converts the digital into analog, then you hear it. This takes a few seconds. You said 10:30. By the time your sound reaches to me, it is no more 10:30. So the present moment is very precise. You cannot capture it into finiteness. That is why it is called eternal. And soul is eternal. Mind is finite. How can you be aware of the present moment? It requires tremendous awareness. I gave you the example. That's the example you can start using to practice to remain in the present moment. And then slowly and slowly you will gain how to remain in the present moment, skip the past which is no more, forget about the future which is not yet born. If you have eaten the food properly, the one that was on the dining table in your platter, that will give you satiation. And then if you have eaten it, firstly, the nutritional value of the food. If the food is cooked with awareness, meditatively, lovingly, the food will have a different quality. Because the food is water content, and water has a tendency, quality to absorb. It has a tremendous memory. It absorbs the vibrations that you are having at the moment when the food is being cooked. When you are adding the water, when you are angry and you cook the food will have the anger energy or frustration energy. So I would not like to eat the food cooked by each and everyone. There is an example, an anecdote. Osho's secretary, Neelam, she got married. She was a good cook. And she complained once to Osho that I am a good cook, everyone likes the food that I cook, but I have never heard a word of appreciation from my husband about the food. He simply eats and does nothing. So Osho said, you start cooking for me. At this she asked, how can I do? You are living here and I am away from you. He said, cooking for me does not mean cooking for me literally. It means you do this exercise. Before you go into the kitchen, you take a shower, keep a particular set of clothes that you use to go to the kitchen, change into those clothes. Now you have gone to the kitchen, you put on music, not like TV serials, and then you say in your mind, Osho, can I start cooking food for you? In deep silence, the message will come to you from within. Yes, you can start. Then cook the food. After you have finished the food, you set the food ready on the dining table and you say within Osho, the food is finished. You can come and have the meals now. After that, you go and take a shower and change your clothes. She said that has transformed. This is how we cook our food during the prayers. But on a day-to-day basis, when we are cooking food, I don't know everything that I cook for this man. He never appreciates anything I cook. This is the kind of mentality. I know I can cook food, but you have your own ways. Okay, that's all right. I will cook it the way you want it. Do not cook with these things. There is a conflict in you. So prayer is when prayer's food tastes. Why prayer's food tastes different? Because it is cooked with a different kind of a mentality. This is living. You can practice awareness in being available to the moment. You are adding the spices. You are communicating with the spices because spices are living organisms. Water is a living organism. And there was an English movie, you cook food for me, I will dance for you. Something like that, it was the theme of that movie. So living moment to moment means you are available to the moment when something is happening. You can start practicing it from the environment, from the things that are happening around you. Simple things. You can choose your own format. I gave you the example, you can choose your own format. You are going to the restroom and you will tell the person, if your phone rings, someone rushes with the phone for you. If I am doing something, let me finish that, and when the call comes in, afterwards I will attend to the call. If I miss a call, I can call afterwards. Let me take a shower peacefully. Not in the shower remain thinking, because it is an act where you have to focus on giving cleanliness to your body. This is an act. Any act to which you are available when it is happening is a way to practice living moment to moment. You can choose your example. You can choose your own format. You can decide just as you take the medicine, doctor prescribes you the medicine, that every 2 hours you have to take the medicine. You decide that when I am going to cook the food today, I am not going to talk, I will try to be aware, or something or the other. You can choose there are 1,001 ways and means to be available to the moment. You will see the quality of life changes. Not only the food will taste different, but also something will begin to change within you. And that is where the process of transformation begins. The master does not, doing the big chanting of the mantra or doing this and that is not so important as being aware to this very moment. Very moment when you are doing something, you are aware of it. I recall my grandmother when I was close to her, and that time it used to give me a VIP status, that whenever she is doing anything, I had to be around her, helping her, and so. She will keep you engaged in so many talks that no thought arises in your mind at that moment. Just pleasant gestures, simple things she used to cook, and it has a taste as if it is nectarine, because what she is putting into it is herself, her energy field, so that the food becomes a medicine. And this is the reason that when you eat the food cooked by a person of that nature, it will transform you. The food that she used to cook had simple thing, had so much of taste. This is why my slogan is cooking taoshobuddha way, cooking lovingly, cooking meditatively, cooking for Buddhas, because you are Buddha already, but you are not aware of it. I and Buddhahood cannot stay together. The moment Buddhahood is revealed in you, I disappears. Only Buddhahood is around. The energy field surrounds you. So learn, choose your own ways and means to be aware when something is happening around you, or when you are doing something, and then slowly and slowly you start moving within. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.